Beth here with Pearl Treasure Designs. Welcome to the Patriotic DIYs with our host, Shantell with Crafty Hints, Amanda with 6 kids and a glue gun, and Brenda with Rustic and Lace DIY. We're getting ready to do DIY number 1. So here we are decorating a jar for a jar holder that I had just made over. So I am taping the ends of these ropes to keep it from fraying and falling apart while I work with it. And I was going for a knot that would lay flat, so not your typical knot that you would use on the water or anything else, but something that I could then glue in place, and it almost reminded me of a pretzel. I'm just going to say it. So I had practiced on one and I was going for a repeat on this, so let's see how I do. Finally, I got it. So once you have the desired look in place, then you want to tighten it around the edge of the jar, okay, underneath the bottom lip of the jar. And I just did the over and under attachment so that I could get the hot glue behind it and hold it into place. To see me putting hot glue on the tips before I take the tape off in an attempt to keep the rope together without the distracting look of the tape. And so basically what I'm doing here is doing a round with jute, trying to figure out how I want to hang it on that hanger. At first I thought it was going to be okay, but I didn't like the way that it was laying. So I decided to use a double strand of jute for a hanger, and then I did just the decorative piece around the lip, and you'll get to see that at the final reveal. Here I am filling it with some glass beads from the dollar store to hold my stemware in place. So I did choose to do a small flower arrangement with this, with the red, white, and blue, and you will get to see how this is put together. I did glue each of the flowers and the stems into place to minimize the arrangement falling apart, and I did manage to find these at the dollar store. I do like more high-end looking flowers in the arrangement, so you get to see that the final reveal. Here we are with DIY number 2. I am making some homemade tags with some items that I found at the dollar store as well. So the stars and the red, white, and blue beads. So now I am basically using a pencil and half my template to almost locate the center. I'm not going to be real picky about this. So I did the same thing for each of these tags and drilling the holes. So I am still getting used to using this drill, if I'm not holding it specifically right, it does migrate. So whitewash is what I decided to go with on the tags. I didn't do a whole lot of distressing on these tags because I did want some of the texture of the wood to come through the whitewash. And I gave it a couple of coats, light coats, just to make sure that all the wood was covered. And you will get to see more of this in just a second and how we put this together. So here I've put this in kind of fast motion, putting the beaded tails with the stars on each of the tags. I did have one standing and two that you could either lie down on its side or flat with the red, white, and blue beads. And I did continue to keep the jute in place. I do like how that looks. More rustic, patriotic for me. I glued each of those tags, jute ends, in place to keep them from fraying and falling apart. And you'll get to see more of that, the final reveal. Our guest host here, host is Crafty Hints, co-host Rustic Lace, and co-host 6 Kids and a Glue Gun. Make sure you look at their links in my description box and go to their links. They have some amazing craft ideas and a great amount of videos. So you'll learn a lot from each of these channels. It's been a great honor to work with each one of these ladies in this patriotic DIY. So be sure to do that, to like, share, and subscribe if you're not already doing so. We can always learn a little bit more in our crafting world. So enjoy their site. DIY number 3. Here we are making a wreath. I decided to use a stretchy fabric that I had found on sale at, in clearance actually, at Hobby Lobby. And I decided to do a small arrangement on one side and a pretty unique closure on the bottom side of the opening. At first I thought I might do a pocket, but I didn't like how that was coming out. So I started with a small swag by putting it together with zip ties and attaching the red to the center where I could then adjust it and work the arrangement. And then you'll get to see more of this in just a second. So here I am putting the glue and putting this in place on the swag so that I can then place it onto the wire frame of the wreath holder. So I'm going to put this in fast motion. There's nothing like watching somebody put this together when you have your own creative ideas. So I did attach that with a zip tie and 3 beads, red, white, and blue, to carry on that theme. And I'm zip tying it to the wire frame to keep it from falling apart. And now I am lacing this up with jute, very much like how you tie a shoe, under and over and under and crisscross, you know. And so once I get to the top, I will tie that around the beaded center, all right, to help stabilize that part of it. And you'll get to see more of this in just a second. Running that through the center of the zip tied beads. And we're going to tie that with a double knot. And now I'm going to add 3 beads to each end before I add the beaded or the jute tassel, okay, to finish off this DIY. And you'll get to see this at the final reveal. y'all forgive me for that little clip it with DIY number 2. I can't figure out how it got behind my video. So I'm going to be working on that, and it may have been an overlay, so please forgive me. But yes, I'm tying in the knots here with a tassel and gluing them down securely so that they don't come up and look like it's got little corns coming out of the tassel. That kind of makes me crazy. And I did secure the longer tassels by gluing them down with the jute so that it lays flat. And again, here's the second tassel. Here I am, yes, again, putting those tassel ends down onto the remaining parts of the tassel and cutting off the excess. And any strings at the top of the cordage, I will also cut and secure with hot glue. You'll get to see the results in the final reveal. Here we go. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we just pray that you have any needs for spiritual support. Please go to Pastor Beth Kelly at Beth Kelly Podcast on YouTube or Pastor Beth Kelly at Gmail. And don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. We're all in this together.